Hi everyone, this is Archangel. So the other day I was having a conversation with a guy who was a diehard materialist scientist and atheist, also a retired teacher, who said that this existence, what you see around you, this is it. There is nothing else beyond what our senses tell us. Which I cannot disprove, though I tried debating just a little bit with such things as radio or microwaves. They are very much real, even though we cannot see or hear or taste them. So too, I reasoned, there might be a very real spirit world that surrounds us, unbeknownst to our five senses. Although waves or radiation you cannot observe directly, you can see their effects with your senses. We are still unable to detect alternate dimensions or spirit realms, though they may surround us. Then, to further shore his conversational stance, he threw in a few backhanded insults, like, "I'm surprised that you're not smart enough to see that there is no afterlife." And so I told him, insults aside, I am open-minded. It's true that currently we have no incontrovertible proof that you can hold in your hands or put in a beaker dish and tinker with that categorically proves a higher power or continued existence. So I offered an olive branch and said, you could be right. Perhaps there is nothing more. This is all meaningless chaos. However, I choose to believe that there is something greater. The tolerances for life to exist on this planet, in this part of the solar system, as well as my inner truth center, both tell me that there is something more than what we see. Maybe it makes me feel warm and cozy. Maybe it gives me hope that all the ugliness, all the suffering is not in vain, that there is some purpose or justice, even if justice is merely a concept contrived in the minds of men to deal with the cruelties of nature. Still, I suppose at the end of the day, I want to believe that this misery and random brutality is not without design. Of course, he pounced on that. That's right! You hit it right on the head. People choose to believe in fairy tales. Then he stuck his nose up, self-satisfied that he had won this debate. So we went on talking a bit, and somehow the conversation came around to females, and he is very female sympathetic. He, of course, is a male devaluing, wife-worshipping, gynocentric shovel doormat like everybody else, who, once again, was praising them as superior, and so I relished the opportunity to turn the tables. They are not superior goddesses, and unlike our discussion on the afterlife, I can point to evidence that demonstrates them as self-interested, entitled eaters. I can point to statistics that demonstrate males have it worse off than females. I can point to examples that show them to be uninterested with male welfare. And I can point to millions of anecdotes from actual males testifying as to the malevolence of female nature. And then I concluded with, you, sir, are giving me your belief that females are good, whereas I actually can point to logic and reason that your assertion of female superiority is faulty, and your assertion of female benevolence and altruism is flawed. Yet, you will not hear any of it. You will reject evidence. Could it be that you choose to believe in females as salvation and purity and superiority because that fairy tale makes you feel warm and cozy inside? Oh, snap! Shut down. Then just yesterday I had a very blue pill moment which lasted into this morning. It started when I was talking with another guy at the gym whom I know, a philosophy major. And I brought up my favorite subject, the universe and the bigger questions. And as I brought up different human proclivities or human behaviors, he completely explained them using strict materialist science. And he peppered various philosophers throughout the conversation who were nihilistic or concluded that this is it. Everything is random evolution and chaos. There is no rhyme or reason, with conclusions that human consciousness is an epiphenomena of the brain, that we are nothing more than these meat sacks that we call bodies, and that, essentially, there is no equity to balance the ugliness in this existence. Now, he could be right. Once again, I cannot prove that there is something grander, some afterlife. Yet I have chosen to believe in something because there is a wealth of seductive anecdotal testimony by people, including traditionally steeped doctors, scientists, researchers, physicists, etc., who say that there is more than this material world. Seductive testimonies from seemingly level-headed people who make witness claims or purport paranormal abilities, such as psychics who claim contact with non-material entities. Seductive reports from average people who claim or research past life memories. There is a plethora of testimonial evidence. However, knowing how flawed and manipulative humans are, the testimony or hearsay of others, whether they have seen the afterlife or Bigfoot, is very suspect and dubious to say the least. Such testimony seems not to convert skeptics, but only reinforces pre-existing beliefs within predisposed individuals, meaning you already have some predisposition to believing in a higher power, a continuance of life. Then you search out data that backs and bolsters your assertion. Thus, I have a desire to believe in a continuance of life, an afterlife, some order to this chaos that we are thrust into. Some healing, some justice for the ugliness that we have been ruthlessly subjected to, and some explanation of reason, of purpose for this tortuous 60, 70, 80-year stint on this female-favoring rock. Yes, perhaps adversity makes us stronger. But stronger to what end? We spend an entire life accumulating knowledge in the form of experience, and we forge strength through year after decade after decade of hardship and suffering. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stronger for what? So you can deteriorate into old age and lose all this strength and knowledge to the worms when your rotting cells are tossed into some hole in the ground? Materialists are self-satisfied that we live to pay everything forward. We gather knowledge and strength in order to impart wisdom to improve the lives of the next generation and the generation after that ad infinitum. Okay, great, but that rings hollow to me. Thus I seek explanations that satisfy my inner criteria of purpose, equity, and justice. And so, indeed, I choose to believe in something greater, grander. I know not what, but something. However, I can be neutral and level-headed, and in all honesty, if I were to structure my beliefs solely around what can be proven to my five senses, which is what science is, an affirmation of stimuli provable to the five senses, if our physical senses are the arbiters of truth, then I would have to conclude that I have never had any satisfactory proof to my senses of an afterlife, or of any paranormal activity for that matter. And I would have to conclude that the majority of anecdotes to support higher dimensions come from people who beheld them in a dream or a meditative state, or in some altered state of consciousness with their eyes closed. This is a slippery slope, and obviously many materialists and atheists will appropriately assert such experiences as imagination fueled by a desire for confirmation of a pre-existing belief or assertion. Simply put, an individual wants there to be something more, and so they imagine up or manifest signs to confirm such beliefs. Yet, to meet the criterion of recreatable predictability with evidence that can be seen or heard and studied in your hands, well, in regards to the afterlife, we have none. Yet. Now, after having the conversation with the first guy, I was comfortable that he was just a member of the microscope cult. Meaning that science has turned into as much of a dogmatic cult as religion, where any talk of the non-physical is simply woo-woo, airy-fairy blasphemy, punishable by ostracization from the clubhouse, which is where you have your social circles and reputation, and even where you get your paychecks if you are involved in science or research in any way. So I easily deflected the first guy's scientific rebuttals, which I've heard before, and then I discounted him because he was a gynocentric vaginisty clown who wallowed in his own chosen beliefs. Yet, after having that little chat with the philosophy major at the gym, I was a little more shaken because his arguments threatened my beliefs. And during the conversation, I had the urge to argue, to simply talk over him, which would totally disprove his assertions somehow. I had the urge to debate further, as any rabid religious fanatic or feminist tries to do when they come up against ideas that threaten their internal belief dialogue. That was a blue pill moment, where I had a pre-existing assumption. Someone challenged those assumptions, and I reacted with defensive derision, just as most people react when they hear of gynocentrism or female nature. You see, when discussing gynocentrism, male devaluation and disposal, I am confident to the point of disconnected cockiness. Indeed, I may come off as a know-it-all, because the data, the predictable, observable, recreatable evidence favors my assertions. Yet, when it came to the afterlife discussion, my back was against the ropes. Anyhow, the remainder of that evening, I was agitated over that conversation, and this morning I woke in a dismal general state of melancholy. Oh, I still believe as I did before, yet what if he's right, and everything is explained through chemicals and physiology, and we merely suffer, then exist no more. No rhyme, no reason, no justice. We think that we are our bodies, but actually we are our beliefs. Beliefs are the filters which determine our experience, and thus our existence. The upheaval or challenging of warm, comfy beliefs. This sucks, and it incites vehement, almost violent responses by many individuals to protect their beliefs, which is why we see so much fanaticism from polarized ideology, such as religion, politics, or gender roles. Beliefs are as essential to your existence as your brain or your liver, and when someone challenges your beliefs, they may as well be running at you with a screaming chainsaw, because your reptilian mind perceives this theological challenge as a very real physical assault on your person. So, when dealing with males, we are not simply dealing with sex or courtship chemical addicts. We are not merely dealing with the slaves of validation solicitation syndrome, though they are that. We are actually up against deeper fundamental obstacles. We are challenging their very beliefs, and beliefs are quite literally life and death, for beliefs are a rare animal indeed, since belief is the one thing that humans will both kill over and die for. Yes, there are many things that humans will kill for: food, money, resources, hate, jealousy, and so forth. Yet most humans will not give their lives for the same money or food that they might kill another over. Instead, they will let another take these things that they might live to fight another day. Yet belief is that which humans will give their lives for, as well as kill others in the name of. Belief is potent. It is a loaded gun. Point and shoot. Males are programmed to seek out females for procreation and then to protect these incubators of offspring, and that is just for starters. Then males are brainwashed by environmental factors into elevating female needs and welfare and exalting females as more valuable than males. In a word, superior. Males are indoctrinated into believing females are superior in life worth compared to themselves. And so males begin constructing fairy tales of female altruism and benevolence in their head. With the generous help of societal propaganda, males begin forming their belief structure as a sculptor forms clay. They tediously fashion beliefs that females are loving and caring, that mothers are holy and selfless, that males and females are meant to exist romantically. Males lovingly christen beliefs that females are angels, that females are fragile bunnies, that females are naturally caring, etc. Males take their gynocentric indoctrination and spend years forming their internal beliefs regarding females. Meanwhile, their belief structure is so firmly entrenched that any contrary opinion, proof, or challenge to this belief is quickly justified. Yet, one day, along comes someone who gets through the barriers and really challenges your beliefs. And suddenly, you are under attack. You get angry, confused. You don't give a crap about the truth. You seek to prop your assertions which define your identity. You spend time in mental confusion with a depressive, dismal outlook on everything. And all of this is caused by the crumbling of your Pleasantville fairy tales. Oh, it sucks. This is why so many males are militant regarding their female fairy tales, because they have been indoctrinated with fairy tales about female exaltation to the point that symbiosis occurs, and now they are their beliefs. So many males will get violently angry when you try to point out the true state of the female creature, the true state of male devaluation. They will attack you with vehemence because you are threatening their existence. This is how they see it. They believe females are loving and superior, and that belief is now that person. And attacking that belief, you attack their very existence. And when an animal is cornered, it doesn't sit down with a cup of tea for a rational, respectful conversation. No, they lash out violently, such as white knights. This is why males are so combative to reality when it comes to females. They have a belief narrative playing in their head that females are glorious, angelic, and that females are salvation itself. These are unfounded beliefs, which they choose to believe in, and their beliefs are reinforced by chemical rewards from sexual pleasure and the chemical highs of courtship rituals, and the mingling of male and female energies. You know, all the feel-good highs that males get when they are around and interacting with attractive females. Males pretend that these chemical intoxicants are the love that all the Disney cartoons and nursery rhyme fairy tales proselytize to young children that they will find someday in life. And so such chemical bonanzas further solidify males' belief structure of female exaltation as correct and true. Then some ugly, gay, woman-hating dude comes along and says, "Everything you thought was a lie. Guys are actually devalued and disposed of." But you know that they are wrong, because chicks are pretty and you feel good when you are around them. And this means that females really are angels, just like mom is. You knew it. You were totally right all along. You see, demonstrable reality challenges the blue pill male fairy tales and essentially threatens the blue pill male's very life. And so we get males that lash out at awakened males and attack them, and just wallow in hate for the guys that speak blasphemies against their warm, cozy female fairy tales. And thus many guys will retreat to any social movement which opposes males just to fight against the gender that challenges their female fairy tale beliefs. This means that many males will become feminists, not because they agree or understand these predators, but because they seek to impugn the males that challenge their beliefs of females as superior and salvation itself, to impugn these guys that proselytize blasphemies that, in effect, threaten the very lives of the blue pill males that believe in them. Males are the most vehement believers in female superiority, sometimes even more fervent in this assertion than females themselves. Belief which humans will kill over and die for, this is why males are ruthless in opposing equity for males, because they believe that males are oppressors and that females are victims, just as the propaganda instructs them to believe. And they will be deaf, dumb, and blind to all contrary evidence, which they construe as lies. Anything that does not uphold the big bad wolf, Red Riding Hood paradigm, anything that does not uphold the Beauty and the Beast female victim, male victimizer narrative. They will fight in ignorance, essentially to cause further injustice, all because they are attached to their identities and false beliefs. So when my belief of something more than the materialist world was challenged, I had a reminder of how blue pills must feel when their beliefs in female superiority and salvation are challenged. You get angry, you have the urge to insult, to deflect and justify, and simply talk over the other person. Belief is that powerful, and we all deal in belief because we all have them. So throwing stones is hypocritical. All we can do is try to convince others to modify their belief or convince them to more closely align their beliefs with our own, which will bolster our beliefs as correct, the more converts we get to our belief structure. The only difference in belief is some beliefs are more closely aligned with predictable, observable, recreatable evidence, and some are simply fantastical imaginings in a place where truth is relative. Males are mistreated and devalued, then used for utility and discarded to protect female welfare. Believe it? Don't believe it. But this is independent, observable, recreatable, demonstrable reality. What you choose to do with such information, well, that will define your belief structure, which in turn will define your existence. My friends, stand with me, live free.